This is the Wire Report for 2300 Zulu, October 30th, 2023. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2230. Bottom line up front. Few details emerge regarding Gaza ground invasion. Israel continues targeting in Gaza, beginning with international events. On the Middle Eastern front, the Israeli invasion of Gaza continues with little information regarding the progress of the advance. Information from the Palestinians has slowed to a crawl following comms blackouts, the lack of electricity, airstrikes, etc. Hamas has allegedly been engaged in significant combat actions in the north, though details from the front are not clear at this time. Hamas rocket attacks have remained fairly constant since the beginning of this war, but have increased in number immediately following substantial Israeli strikes, or strikes on facilities that would ordinarily be considered Cat 1 no-strike entities, such as hospitals, schools, mosques, community centers, etc. This morning, WikiLeaks released leaked internal IDF documents that suggest Israel is planning to expel the entire Palestinian population from Gaza to be resettled in the Egyptian Sinai. Though these documents cannot be independently verified with 100% certainty at this time, these very early reports corroborate earlier analysis that indicates Israel is not seeking to stop at the destruction of Hamas, but is actually invested in the removal of all civilian Palestinians from Gaza. On the home front, in the United States, in Maine, the circumstances regarding the death of Robert Card remain unclear. Since the finding of his body, much information in the public sphere has been speculatory. Initial reports that Card suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head remain unprovable. However, as authorities have total control over the evidence chain of custody, and since authorities have not released any substantial details at all, mainstream media reporting remains the only sources for most of the information that is public. Analyst comments for this wire. As the Israeli war in Gaza continues, much of the media coverage has focused on atrocity, with both sides seeking to dominate the information space. As such, knowledge of how military targeting works would be beneficial for making informed decisions. Per Joint Publication 360, most Western nations that abide by U.S. targeting doctrine are prohibited from striking hospitals even if used by enemy forces. The deliberate targeting process comprises most of U.S. kinetic targeting and is a rigid, data-centric process to ensure legal military targets are struck in accordance with military law. The dynamic targeting process is an expedited process to be used mostly in situations of immediate self-defense, but is no less legally binding, and is limited in scope to only the munitions required for self-defense. Israel is abiding by neither of these processes, and is striking targets that, if held to current U.S. military law, are illegal. Population density and the intricacies of point mensuration to develop Joint Desired Points of Impact, or JDPIs, in the urban environment mean that very few of Israel's strikes conform to U.S. or NATO law. Considering the U.S. and NATO's overwhelming support for Israel and the assembly of one of the largest military flotillas in NATO history throughout the region, this is an important factor to remember. Hamas, on the other hand, continues to adhere to an insurgent-style model and does not possess any significant technology that would result in precision targeting. Hamas's rocket attacks using unguided munitions are, by definition, indiscriminate. Regarding the Maine shooting and the fate of Robert Card, several mainstream media reports have quietly changed the headline of 2 gunshot wounds to the head to self-inflicted gunshot wound, indicating a quiet retraction of this crucial detail. In any case, the public is unlikely to know the truth of Card's death, which is unfortunate considering the long trail of evidence suggesting Card's actions were exceptionally predictable and that he had previously been under investigation for potentially being a mass shooter. The only fact that remains certain is that Robert Card is deceased and he was a person of interest with regards to the Maine shooting. This concludes The Wire for 2300 Zulu, October 30th, 2023.